dynamic patron of the arts and matriarch of the Latin American art scene, a visionary whose generosity is reshaping Los Angeles. Ella Fontanals Cisneros has elevated the city's creative spirit in ways that few ever dream. In partnership with MOLA, the Museum of Latin American Art in Long Beach, Cisneros and her foundation, CIFO, are empowering a new generation of emerging Latino artists in a brand new exhibition called Tierra Cifrada, or Coded Earth, that explores identity, social change, and environmental transformation, a testament to Cisneros' commitment to cultural institutions like MOLA, at a moment when supporting diverse artistic voices is more important than ever. Ella Fontanals Cisneros. She is today's LA Story. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a really great edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernández, and I'm here at MOLA, the Museum of Latin American Art, surrounded by such beautiful artwork. And I'm here with one of the most significant art patrons in the world who's done so much for Los Angeles, especially significant during these political times that really threaten arts funding and visibility for cultural institutions like these. It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Well, you are an extraordinary, not just arts patron, but entrepreneur, businesswoman. And I want to talk to you first about receiving MOLA's prestigious Legado Award for all that you've done and surrounded by the artists that you have so supported. What does it mean to you?
It touches my heart to understand that Latin American art is in the forefront of so many minds, even here in the United States. The arts here in California are very strong.
You have an arts foundation, CIFO. In collaboration with MOLA, you identified 9 Latinx artists to create works, not just to be displayed here at MOLA, but also internationally. Talk to me about these artists. This particular collection is called Coded Earth, attacking things like social justice or sustainability of the planet, using really interesting multimedia, digital, and earthy methods to bring their creations to the forefront. Talk to me about what most impresses you about their work.
For sure, when we look at this art, and we look at many different things, we look at how responsive they will be to any of these issues which are so important, political and also environmental, but also how do they impact other people looking at it. For example, one of the artists, she's from Santo Domingo, working with clay and with ceramics. You see the roots of who she is and where she's coming from immediately. It gives you the opportunity of really bringing the viewer to a depth inside of who they are, where are they coming from, etc. And there is a lot of political things. We have one of the artists, it's very political. She's showing people in the Andes kidnapped or because they were in a political situation. So you will see in the exhibition lots of all these things and people talking about the earth and the human being in this planet and why we should keep, the planet safe. So the artists are always talking about the culture of today and what's going on in their environment around them.
How important is that?
The art can transform lives, can transform cities, can transform the life of people. We've seen it in Cuba, for example, how all these artists went into the street in a place that, your voice cannot be heard ever because there is a lot of controls, and they're all in jail. But they have done something that impacts the world. Everybody knows what's going on there.
And you were born in Cuba, you emigrated during the revolution to Venezuela, and you've seen the political and social landscape change in both of those countries because of political turmoil over the decades. How have the arts, would you say, from your experience, transformed some of those difficult moments for society?
It depends. When you are in a country in which there is a lot of control and it's difficult because they tend to immigrate, people, when they cannot use their voice, they leave. It's something sad because the sensation of being a group is lost. The only way that an artist can really make an impact is when you really have a democracy and when you really have a space that your voice is heard. Then change happens. But when you are, persecuted and this and that, it's kind of difficult. It's very difficult.
And you're here at a difficult time supporting Latinx artists and this new emerging generation of artists at a time when Latinos in Los Angeles and America need that voice. What is the power of the arts for a community that right now feels at risk?
What we're doing with Mola and with Sifo now is giving that opportunity for the voice to be heard, You're here in Los Angeles, in which, you also have problems here. But you see these brave people talking about, the impact of what they're trying to do and how that makes other people think. So maybe, who knows, what we're doing here might have a very strong impact in the group of, community of artists here in LA.
And institutions like Mola, struggling for funding?
The problem is that culture is the first thing all governments got. They don't see that culture is the continuity of who you are, and that is the history of a nation, And this nation is being built by people like, the Latin American. The Latin Americans are the biggest ethnic group right now in the United States, more than 70 million, and growing.
We have a National Latino Museum that's trying to be built and constructed in Washington, D.C. that's facing some real challenges as well.
Because it's all politics. That's a problem. Look, we had an exhibition from Cuba that it was wonderful. The Smithsonian calls it, the history calls it, there is a problem, government problem with Cuba right now, and they don't want any exhibitions of Cuban. They stopped. They said, forget it. The government told us because we give money to the museum, no Cuban. It was a fantastic exhibition.
And how do you feel about that?
It's dangerous because I feel that then where is freedom? Where is freedom of speech, freedom of who we are and why, You
expect this in Latin American countries. Did you expect it here?
No, not at all. For me, it has been a surprise, a shocking experience because of the things that are happening. That this is a country that has always been center, and center is good for everybody. And now suddenly we are all to the right, all to the left.
And you come from oppressive regimes in your history from Cuba and Venezuela.
People are becoming here in the United States extremists. And I see my friends leaving the country and I say, why? It's because they feel that it's not the same society as, where they grew up.
What, in your view, is the greatest gift that Latino artists can offer this city, right? And what's at stake if those voices are diminished or not seen or heard or expressed?
The artists can, with their art, can make a statement and say, we're here and we're here to stay. And we're part of this city and we're part of the nation and we will stay.
I belong.
I belong here.
When people come to you and say, wow, the impact you've made on me, the artist, or me, the community, because you support beautiful works of art that speak to the heart, you got emotional. That matters to you.
It does very much because, I do things because I'm passionate about it and it's my life.
You followed your heart.
Yeah. I always follow my heart. That's the journey of life, understanding that.
You have built one of the most prestigious collections of Latin art, 3,000 pieces, I understand, from all over Latin America and the world.
I've collected a series of different things because I wanted to learn about them. I went into abstraction because I really wanted to understand what was happening in the 50s, in the 60s, etc. Then I went into photography because it was a new media and I wanted to understand that. So each part of the collection have been really focused into what was, for me, important.
These are the chapters of your life.
Chapters of my life. So the collection is very personal.
And if they reflect the chapters of your life, what does the collection say about you?
That I've been constant, that I have not lost my light in the front. I've gone through what I think and what I believe. It has to do with me and who I have walked with. The artists, they're all people thinking on looking for the truth in the beauty. I've loved, the time spent with the artists. I've loved what I've learned from them. It's a search for something that really helps you, your insight go, wow, how beautiful this is, how wonderful, more than the ownership of anything, because the ownership has nothing to do with that.
It's what it evokes in you.
It's what you feel, it's what it makes you inside. Wow, this is beauty, you know?
Sounds like
Isn't
the Da
it?
Vinci effect. You know,
Isn't
we're
it?
looking for the innovation.
Innovation, the perfection in that. And we're surrounded by art, you know, everything around us is art.
That's how
What
you
we-
see the world.
Of course, you know, everything, this chair, the things that surround us, somebody thought about them, you know, somebody had the idea to make them real, you know, but it was an idea first.
It's extraordinary that a woman from Latin America has been able to build what you have. And we're going to get into all that you've been able to do as a result of your tenacity and grit when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here at MOLA, the Museum of Latin American Art in Long Beach, with one of the most significant arts patron in the world, Miss Ella Fontanals Cisneros. And your story begins in Cuba during profound upheaval there during the revolution, and then you emigrated to Venezuela. How do you think those challenging times shaped your interest and your journey in art?
Well, originally, when I was 12, I wanted to be an artist, and my mother, of course, yes, sent me to school, you know, to draw and everything else. But then we went to Venezuela, exiled. I was 13 years old, 14 years old. My father died a year after. We stayed, and we had to start working at 15. So I started working at 15.
Yeah, I heard you taught English. You taught water ballet?
That was the only thing I knew. I was doing water ballet and water sports, so I started teaching water ballet and water sports and swimming.
You lost your father early during that really transitional time in your life as a teenager, moving from one country to another. How did having a strong mother who had to take a helm at a time when Latin women were not doing that, how did that impact you, do you think?
Well, you know, my big problem was that she was crying all the time, because in reality, she's never worked in her life. And suddenly she had these two kids, so we were on our own. And for her, it was such a shock. But I said, well, okay, you know, this is what we have to do. Let's go and do it. I did everything I could to make money. I created a small boutique, took the rights for the name in Venezuela.
You knew how to do that as a young girl?
Yeah, I had not 1 cent. I went to New York, and I stood up there and I say, I own the name in Venezuela. I want to do this and that, but I need credit. We need $100,000 of credit. Imagine. And they gave me the $100,000. And my partner, she was looking at me like, she's crazy.
You're a manifester. From the very beginning, where do you think that came from?
Oh, gosh.
You always believed you could.
I always believe I could.
You captured the attention of Osvaldo Cisneros, this business magnate tycoon, multi-billionaire, made his fortune in media in Latin America and the Pepsi bottling company.
Yeah, it was very funny because I didn't want to go out with him.
Why?
Why? Because he looked like a nerd. I look at him and he was coming, you know, green pants with something else. I was like, you're not going out with this guy with glasses. And I said, no, forget it. And he insisted. He insisted until he found a way to go out with me, insisted. And then I started to fall in love with him slowly. And I saw, you know, his heart and how good he was. And he was very intelligent and bright. And I said, okay, we can change the clothes. We can change his looks. And that's what I did.
What's interesting to me is that you're married to a very wealthy guy, but you insisted on working. This is very unique for women in Latin America.
I never stopped working. At that time in Venezuela, women not working, and I was working, making money. And I said, no, I'm not going to stop. I want to be here because I love you, because this is my family, not because I need anything. You know, you can want everything, but you don't need anything. You know, that's a different thing.
And you were very successful. You made $1 million on your own. That was important to you. Why?
It was important to prove, in a way, to him that I could do it, you know. And also, I learned from him a lot. I learned how to read balance sheets and how to manage a business. Many, many things I learned from him because I didn't have the opportunity before, but I learned. And then I used things.
Was it hard for you as a woman? Did you have a lot of barriers that you had to push through?
Oh, many. In Venezuela, it's not like today, in which, you know, the woman's right is, what are you doing? And I can go someplace and tell you're sexual harassing me or something. You couldn't, you know. There was nobody to really help you or take you through that. You know, you have to be your own strong person. But yes, it was kind of very difficult.
And you're a trailblazer in all of this. You think things have changed now for women? And if
Oh,
so,
yes.
how much? Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, it has changed a lot. It has changed a lot. Women now are in the forefront of businesses, and in Venezuela too. I always say that intelligence have no gender. That's what has to prevail. I always tell women that we are all God, aren't we? We all have that little spark inside of the essence of the Creator. So what stops you? You know, you can do anything in life that you want to, if you really want to. This is your life. This is what you're doing for yourself. The only decision making in your life.
After 30 years of marriage, you divorced Osvaldo. How did that change your life?
Suddenly, I was on my own. Suddenly, I was free for everything. We stayed friends till the last minutes of his life. Somebody asked me, what do you feel now that you have the power behind you that Osvaldo represents? And I said, who cares? I'm my own power. You know, I am not giving up anything. I continue working and doing what I wanted.
Mainly with the focus on art.
Right, that's my passion and what I love, and what I love to do.
It's not lost on me that Mola is run by mostly women.
Women, how wonderful that is.
That
isn't
resonate
it?
with you?
Oh, very much, very much.
We're going to get more into what you've learned and what you share to empower others, artists and women and the world, when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with magnificent arts patron, Fontanals Cisneros. When I look at a woman who is as accomplished as you, who has a passion that you want to share with the world, talk to me about what you've most learned about success and how you define it.
It's kind of strange because success is a word that looks too much to the outside. Success, when you accomplish things, many things, people look at you and say, oh, she's successful, she's this, she's that. But, you know, so many people can hear that and then still not be so happy within. And is that success? I think success is when you feel comfortable inside and you say, I've done what I have to do and I did it right, you know, and you have that feeling inside of you. It's not the approval of the outside, it's more the approval of oneself.
What's your advice to young women, Latino women, who have a dream and want that kind of self-security to be able to take those kinds of leaps and risks, like trust their voice?
Perseverance. Even though things can change in your way, you have to continue. If your insides are telling you that's the way to go, no matter what happens, you have to continue. Continuity and perseverance in what you think is right will take you to success. Period. I started collecting Latin America originally until the year 89, in which I stopped because I was very touched by the problems in Venezuela with kids on the streets, etc. So for 7 years, I was trying to find who I am, why I'm here, what I'm doing, what is my mission in life. So I founded different foundations to help the kids on the street, to help things in the hospitals in Venezuela, and also another foundation in the United Nations, you know, into solving all of the problems that we have around the world. So finally in '96, I came back and I started collecting global art, you know. I said, I can do also philanthropy in my own passion with my own things.
And, you know, Ella, you're an extraordinary woman, you're a mother, businesswoman, entrepreneur, philanthropist. When you think of everything you've done in this incredible art collection and partnering with MOLA here to enhance their mission, what do you hope your legacy is?
Well, when you get older, you start thinking about that, you know? How can something that it took me so many years to collect can be kept together with a lot of care for the future generations? Because that's the only way, if we keep them, that the generations of the future would be able to see them and enjoy them.
And that's important to
and
you.
that's important for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you are emblematic of not just the possible, but sharing passion and empowering artists and entrepreneurs and businesses to be their best. Congratulations
so
on
much
your
for
award
inviting
from MOLA. You're truly an inspiration for so many. El Fontanals
Thank you
Cisneros,
for inviting
muchísimas
me.
gracias.
A ti, a ti.
Felicidades.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for watching another edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernández. We'll see you next time.
Fantástico.